If you want to be a better human being, not just more successful, not just more productive, but genuinely better to the people around you and to yourself, then there are a few skills you must develop. These are not technical skills. These are not things you learn from a textbook or a course. These are human skills. And the irony is, they are the hardest to master, yet the most valuable. We live in a world obsessed with outcomes. We celebrate promotions, money, followers, likes, and titles. But none of those things make you a good human. They make you accomplished, maybe admired, but not trusted. Being a better human starts with understanding that life is not about you. And that is uncomfortable, because from the moment we wake up, everything around us tells us to think about ourselves first. One of the most important skills you need is the ability to listen. And I don't mean waiting for your turn to speak. I mean truly listening. Listening without interrupting. Listening without planning your response. Listening without trying to fix the other person. Most people don't want advice. They want to be understood. When someone feels heard, they feel valued. And when people feel valued, they open up, they trust, and they connect. Listening is an act of service. It says, you matter more than my opinion in this moment. Another skill that defines a better human is empathy. Empathy is not sympathy. Sympathy says, I feel bad for you. Empathy says, I'm willing to sit with you in your discomfort. Empathy requires courage because it asks us to step into emotions we would rather avoid. It asks us to put aside our ego and our judgment. When someone is struggling, your job is not to compare their pain to yours or to tell them it could be worse. Your job is to acknowledge that their pain is real. Empathy builds trust faster than intelligence ever will. A better human also understands the value of responsibility. Responsibility is not about blame. It's about ownership. It's about looking at your life and saying, this is my responsibility. Even when something is not your fault, it is still your responsibility to respond in a healthy way. Blame keeps us stuck. Responsibility moves us forward. When you take responsibility, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start being a leader of your own life. One of the most overlooked skills in becoming a better human is patience. We live in a culture of instant gratification. Faster is always better. More is always better. But meaningful things take time. Relationships take time. Trust takes time. Healing takes time. Patience is not passive. Patience is the discipline to stay committed even when results are slow. When you're patient with others, you give them room to grow. When you're patient with yourself, you give yourself permission to be human. Courage is another essential skill. Not the courage to speak loudly, but the courage to be honest. The courage to admit when you're wrong. The courage to say, I don't know. The courage to ask for help. We often confuse confidence with certainty, but real confidence is comfort with uncertainty. Courage allows you to choose what is right over what is easy. And every time you do that, you strengthen your character. A better human also learns how to manage their ego. Ego is not confidence. Ego is insecurity wearing a mask. Ego needs validation. Ego needs to be right. Ego needs to win. But when your ego is in control, relationships suffer. Growth stops. Learning ends. Humility, on the other hand, opens doors. Humility allows you to learn from anyone, regardless of their title or status. It allows you to apologize without feeling weak. Humility is the foundation of respect. Another critical skill is self-awareness. You cannot improve what you are not aware of. Self-awareness means understanding your triggers, your patterns, your strengths, and your weaknesses. It means recognizing how your behavior affects others, not just how you intend it. Intent does not erase impact. A better human reflects regularly. They ask themselves hard questions. They don't run from feedback. They use it as a tool for growth. Kindness is often underestimated because it doesn't look powerful. But kindness is one of the strongest forces we have. Kindness does not mean being soft or allowing people to walk over you. Kindness means choosing to treat people with dignity, even when you disagree. It means giving grace when others are struggling. It means remembering that everyone is fighting a battle you cannot see. Kindness costs nothing, but its impact can last a lifetime. A better human also understands boundaries. Saying yes to everything does not make you good, it makes you exhausted. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about protecting what matters. When you set healthy boundaries, you show respect for yourself and others. You teach people how to treat you. And you create space for relationships to be sustainable, not resentful. One skill that truly transforms a person is the ability to forgive. Forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior. It's about freeing yourself from carrying the weight of resentment. Holding on to anger hurts you more than it hurts the other person. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. It allows you to move forward without being anchored to the past. And sometimes, the hardest person to forgive is yourself. Gratitude is another powerful skill. When you practice gratitude, you shift your focus from what you lack to what you have. Gratitude changes perspective. It reminds you that progress is happening, even when it feels slow. A grateful person is harder to break, because they are grounded in appreciation, not entitlement. Gratitude doesn't ignore problems, it balances them. Being a better human also means learning how to serve others. Leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. Service shifts your mindset from, what can I get? To, how can I help? When you help others succeed, you create environments where people feel safe, motivated, and loyal. Service builds communities, not just careers. Another essential skill is emotional regulation. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. A better human does not let emotions run the show. They acknowledge their feelings without being ruled by them. They pause before reacting. They choose thoughtful responses over impulsive reactions. Emotional regulation is a sign of maturity and strength. Finally, a better human understands that growth is a lifelong process. There is no finish line. No moment where you suddenly have it all figured out. And that's okay. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. Small, consistent steps toward being more understanding, more patient, more courageous, and more kind. If you truly want to be a better human, focus less on impressing people and more on impacting them. Focus less on winning arguments and more on building relationships. Focus less on being right and more on being helpful. Because at the end of the day, people may forget what you said or what you achieved, but they will never forget how you made them feel.